Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wolf Pit. Today I'm making one of the weirdest things I've ever made or eaten, and they're served in American Chinese restaurants throughout Missouri. And it's called a St. Paul sandwich. There's two theories and one local legend on how this sandwich was created. One was that Chinese restaurants in Missouri created a sandwich which would appeal to Americans' palates. The other theory was by James Beard, and he thought Chinese chefs on logging camps and railroads in the late 19th and early 20th centuries made Denver sandwiches, which were actually St. Paul sandwiches, both of which were derived from egg foo young. But there's also a local legend that Stephen Wynn in Park Chop Suey in Lafayette Square in downtown St. Louis invented the sandwich and named it after his hometown of St. Paul, Minnesota. Yes, that's right, I'm talking about an egg foo young sandwich on white bread with all the fixings. Is that a crazy concoction or what? So let's make some egg foo young and build this sandwich. Let's start by beating some eggs, and if you don't know by now how I like to beat eggs, then you haven't been paying attention. You beat them like they stole your lunch money. Now to the beaten eggs, add soy sauce, granulated garlic, white pepper, and cornstarch. Now give it all a good mix to get everything well combined. If you'd like a full printable copy of this recipe and many more, visit thewolfpit.com. Now add finely chopped white onion, fresh bean sprouts, and if you can't find fresh, you can use canned, just make sure they're well drained, and shrimp. And you can use any kind of meat you want. You don't have to use shrimp, or you can add other vegetables, or just keep it with the bean sprouts and onions. Now give it all a good mix. This amount of mixture is good enough for 2 sandwiches. In a medium skillet over medium heat, add oil. Egg foo young is traditionally deep fried. I don't like the texture or all the grease, so I like to pan fry it, and it turns out just fine. Now pour half the mixture in the skillet. Spread everything out evenly. After about 3 minutes, the eggs are starting to set. Now flip it over. I've had comments on other videos about using raw shrimp in egg foo young, lo mein, or fried rice, but shrimp literally only take 1 to 2 minutes to cook depending on the size. If you use pre-cooked shrimp, they're going to be rubbery and overcooked by the time the egg foo young is done. So if you want rubbery shrimp and tough shrimp, go ahead and use the pre-cooked ones. Now let the egg foo young cook for another 1 to 1.5 minutes, just until the eggs are cooked through. Now let's put this sandwich together on white bread, and I'm using nothing but the best, Wonder Bread. Now slather each piece of bread with mayonnaise, and I'm using nothing but the best again, Duke's mayonnaise. Now add shredded iceberg lettuce, a couple slices of tomato, a slice of white onion, dill pickles. I know it's getting weird, isn't it? And last but not least, the egg foo young. And then top it off with the Wonder Bread. And there you have it, a shrimp egg foo young St. Paul sandwich. As weird of a sandwich as it is, it was absolutely delicious, and now I see what the people in St. Louis are raving about. If you've never had a St. Paul sandwich, give it a try at least once, no matter how weird you think it is. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you give this a try. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wolf Pit. Today I'm making a Chow Mein sandwich that is one of the craziest concoctions I've ever seen, next to the St. Paul sandwich. Originating in Fall River, Massachusetts in the 1930s or 40s, the Chow Mein sandwich was created to provide a low-cost meal in an economically depressed region to European and Canadian immigrants while providing it in a form with which they were already familiar with, a sandwich. Even the gravy has been modified to be very familiar to that used in typical New England cooking. Chow Mein sandwiches are popular in Chinese-American restaurants throughout southeastern Massachusetts and parts of neighboring Rhode Island, and are not very well known outside this relatively small area of New England. As strange as a Chow Mein sandwich looks and sounds, they're very delicious, inexpensive, and very filling. So let's go make a Chow Mein sandwich. Let's start by cooking our chow mein noodles, and you want to cook them according to the package directions, minus a couple minutes, because you don't want to fully cook them yet. Once the noodles are done, remove them from the boiling water, rinse with cold water, and drain really well. While the noodles are draining, let's make our gravy. I have my wok over medium-high heat with a little bit of vegetable oil. Now I'm going to add sliced chicken thighs. And you don't have to use chicken, you can use any kind of meat you like, and it can even be ground meat, which I think is what traditionally is used. When you first put the chicken in the wok, spread it out into an even layer and let it sit there for about 30 seconds, and that'll help it brown and keep it from sticking. And then stir fry the chicken for about 2 minutes. And then add sliced white onion and sliced celery. Now continue stir frying the chicken and the vegetables until the onions and celery begin to sweat. There's 2 ways a chow mein sandwich is served, strained or unstrained. Strained means it does not have vegetables. Unstrained means it does. So I'm making the unstrained version. And then add minced garlic. And yes, I'm using garlic out of a jar. I've had some comments on the last few videos I've done using jarred garlic, saying I should use fresh. I know this. What do you think, I'm stupid? I've been using a jarred garlic because of the strength and the dexterity issues in my hands, as I've previously talked about. It's gotten difficult for me to hold little pieces of garlic and chop, or even use a press, so that's why I use the jarred garlic. Now leave me alone, or I'll be back. And now add bean sprouts. And yes, these are out of a can, unfortunately. The 3 stores around here did not have any fresh bean sprouts. And if you do have to use bean sprouts out of a can, just make sure you drain them really well. But please, use fresh ones if you can find them. Now give it all a quick mix, and there's really no reason to cook these bean sprouts since they're already cooked. Then add chicken stock. Now I hope you're sitting down for this next ingredient. And the ingredient is molasses. Of course everybody knew that. Everybody puts molasses in their chow mein, right? When I first saw molasses as one of the ingredients, I thought it was a typo. But like I said in the beginning of this video, the Chinese restaurants in the New England area made the gravy to suit the taste of the people in that area. So this isn't even really similar to the Americanized Chinese food that we're used to. The only thing Chinese about this is the noodles, and it was made in a Chinese restaurant. Now give it a good mix, bring it up to a boil, then reduce the heat to medium-low and let it simmer for about 5 minutes. If you'd like a full printable copy of this recipe and many more, visit thewolfpit.com. Then add a little cornstarch slurry, which is nothing more than equal parts water and cornstarch, which will thicken the gravy. And then give it a good mix, and the gravy will immediately thicken. Now reduce the heat to low and let it simmer while we fry the noodles. I have about a 1/4 inch of vegetable oil in a medium pan over medium heat. Now I'm going to add half of the noodles. Now let them fry for 3.5 to 4 minutes. Then give it a flip and let it fry for another 2.5 to 3 minutes. Now remove, drain on a wire rack, and fry the second half of the noodles. Now let's put our chow mein sandwich together, starting off with the bottom half of a cheap hamburger bun, followed by the crispy fried chow mein noodles. And then a hearty portion of the chicken and vegetable gravy or stew, or whatever you want to call it. And last but not least, the top of the cheap hamburger bun. And there you have it, a chicken chow mein sandwich. And there's not a chance you actually expected me to pick this up and eat it like a sandwich, did you? Actually, I don't think you're supposed to. So I'm going to do the smart and logical thing and use a knife and fork. And to be perfectly honest, I thought this sandwich was very strange from the get-go. That was until I took the first bite. I absolutely loved this chow mein sandwich. I thought for sure somebody bumped their head when they originally put molasses in the gravy. But the molasses was the biggest flavor component, and it really pulled everything together and was absolutely delicious. If the winters weren't so bad in the New England area, I would move there in a heartbeat for the food alone. They got the lobster rolls, whole belly clams, chowder, and now the chow mein sandwiches. That's 5 very valid and delicious reasons to move to New England, minus the terrible Adam Sandler impression. If there's any other regional New England foods that I'm missing, please let me know about them in the comments. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you give this a try. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wolf Pit with the first ever Throwback Thursday video. I did a poll in the comment section asking you, the people, if you'd be interested in watching me go back over old videos I did to see some of the progress I've made, if any at all. And you, the people, voted for me to do it. And the main reason I'd like to do this, because I get a lot of enjoyment by laughing at myself, and my mistakes, and just weird things I do. And there's nobody on earth that likes making fun of me more than me. Life is way too short to take things seriously, and you gotta get through it with a sense of humor. Otherwise, you're gonna have a long and miserable life. And the video that we're gonna go back over is the chicken chow mein video that I released on September 19th, 2014. So sit back, grab a cold drink, and maybe even a snack, and please laugh with me and at me. Starting off with this wolf pit sign that even Helen Keller disapproved of.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Wolf Pit. Today I'm going to make one of my favorites and a Chinese classic, chicken chow mein. There's several different ways to make it, but I'm going to make it the way it's made here on the East Coast. It's easy, it's simple, it's delicious, so let's get started.
Now let's stop right here. Chow mein literally means fried noodles. Unless you order chow mein from an American Chinese restaurant on the East Coast. It has absolutely no fried noodles in it. And before we get into the noodle aspect, what about the choice of music I used in this video? It sounded like I was watching an episode of Rawhide while making chow mein.
I'm going to start by marinating 2 boneless skinless chicken breasts that I've cut up into bite-sized pieces with soy sauce, Chinese rice wine, white pepper, cornstarch, and egg whites. Now I'm going to give this a good mix with my hands.
Hey, looky there! My hand still worked!
Now this goes into the refrigerator for 30 minutes to marinate. Now I'm going to slice celery into bite-sized pieces.
Look at those fine cutting skills! And I guarantee you that was the dullest knife in the house.
And now I'm going to slice a white onion into thin slices. And now I have some egg roll wrappers that I'm going to cut into strips for our crispy noodles. And if you don't have egg roll wrappers, you can use wonton wrappers. And you can slice these as thin or as thick as you like.
Now here's the noodles. I kid you not. These are the noodles that you're going to get when you order chow mein in an American Chinese restaurant on the East Coast. And I'm definitely not complaining, because like I said, chow mein is one of my favorite dishes.
To 350-degree oil for about 35 to 40 seconds. Now remove the noodles and drain on paper towels and continue frying until all the noodles are done. In a skillet or a wok, I'm going to add some vegetable oil over medium-high heat, and then I'm going to add the chicken. Now stir fry the chicken for 2 to 3 minutes, just until it starts to get some color.
Look at the good stir fry skills with the good working hands.
Woohoo! Now add the celery and onions. Now saute the chicken and vegetables for about 3 to 4 minutes, just until the celery and onions begin to get soft.
And you can also add some Napa cabbage to this as well.
After 4 minutes, the vegetables are almost tender. Now I'm going to add some chicken broth. Now give it a good stir and bring it up to a boil.
Is it just me, or did my voice have a Bob Ross vibe to it? Now let's stir fry some happy chicken and vegetables.
Once it reaches a boil, I'm going to add some cornstarch slurry, which is equal parts cornstarch and water. For a full printable copy of this recipe, visit the Wolf Pit blog. Just click the link below. Now give it a good stir and let it cook for about another minute to a minute and a half, or until the sauce is thickened. Now let's get this plated up. Have a bed of steamed rice, and now I'm going to add our crispy wontons,
also known as faux chow mein.
You can put as few or as many as you like. To me, the more the better.
Does anyone notice or miss that wobbly-ass TV tray? It kind of brings back good memories, doesn't it?
And now a generous helping of the chicken and vegetables. And there you have it, chicken chow mein. Simple, easy, and very delicious.
Now that wasn't the greatest video, and I do think I've made some progress since then. And although the video could have been better, this recipe really is super easy and super delicious, and one of my favorites. If you've had this East Coast version of chicken chow mein before, smash that like button and let me know in the comments. Also, if you like the idea of Throwback Thursday videos like this one today, let me know in the comments, and if there's a specific video you'd like me to redo, like I did this one, let me know in the comments. Thank you all very much for watching. Please don't forget to like this video, share it with your family and friends, leave a comment, and I'll see you soon.